Okay, welcome back to Signal Traditions, or perhaps welcome for the first time. We have been going through the Gospel of Matthew, seeking to learn what we may from his use of the Old Testament. And we left off last time in Matthew chapter 2, verse 6, this reference to Bethlehem. We're now going to move on. So we're going to move down a little bit here to the next instance where Matthew is pulling from the Old Testament. Well, actually, it's kind of hidden right here. So this is where Joseph takes the young child, Jesus, and his mother, and he basically fled to Egypt because of the threat of Herod trying to kill him. And he stayed there until the death of Herod, and that was so that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the Lord through the prophet, saying, "Out of Egypt I called my son." Well, there is a kind of ridiculous objection to this, that this is just a foolish misapplication of "out of Egypt I called my son," because number one, this is talking about Jesus going into Egypt, not coming out of Egypt. Well, uh, I mean, you first have to go into Egypt in order to come out of it, don't you? So he went there so that when he later came out of Egypt, this would be fulfilled. But the larger objection to this is that the original context of this is referring to in Hosea 11. Let's just jump over there. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. So this is Hebrew parallelism here. We're putting Israel, we're basically saying Israel is God's son here. Now, that is the original meaning of this, but as we'll see as we go through the book of Matthew, there is a definite intentional theme where Jesus is Israel. Jesus is the ultimate representative of Israel and fulfills the calling of Israel. Jesus even calls himself the vine, which is again a reference to Israel. I am the true vine, right? He goes up on a mountain and gives his teaching, the Sermon on the Mount. This is parallel to giving of the law on Mount Sinai. There is the 40 days that Jesus spends in the desert fasting, which correlates with the 40 years in the wilderness. This is a very intentional parallel to the life of Israel. As it happened to Israel, so it happens to the Messiah. So there's not really anything wrong here. It's just that Matthew is making the point that Jesus is fulfilling the calling of Israel. So as we continue here, our next reference, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, weeping, and great mourning. Rachel weeping for her children. She wouldn't be comforted because they are no more. Well, what is she weeping about? Okay, that is, this is after Herod had a bunch of babies killed in Bethlehem and the surrounding countryside. So Matthew is saying this fulfills what Jeremiah spoke, that Rachel is weeping for her children because her children were being slaughtered. Well, again, there's an accusation that this is being misused. That's not what Jeremiah was talking about. Jeremiah was talking about something in his day, the Babylonian exile. So you're just pulling this out of context. Well, hold on a second. Even in Jeremiah's day, it's not like Rachel was literally still alive and weeping for her children. This was a poetic application. This was saying, Rachel, our matriarch, Rachel, is weeping for her children because they are being killed. And Matthew here is doing exactly the same thing that Jeremiah did. He's applying it to another event in the future compared to when Rachel was alive. But Rachel is weeping in a poetic sense, in a figurative sense. Same exact usage. There's really nothing to take issue with here. So I believe that we will save this Isaiah reference for next time as we get into chapter 3. Again, if you like this type of content, Just subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to know when we post a new video. Thanks for watching.